ASMR podcasts. Listen along while you relax at the end of the night and drift off to sleep. You don't need to do anything, just relax and listen to my words. Today's topic is quiet rebels, introverts who lead. Let's start with a question. When you hear the word leader, what image comes to mind? Chances are it's someone commanding a room, speaking off the cuff, extroverted, energetic, maybe even loud. But here's the quiet truth. Leadership doesn't have a volume setting. Some of the most effective, influential leaders in history have been introverts. They led not by dominating, but by listening, not by being everywhere at once, but by being deeply present. Today's episode is for the quiet thinkers, the observant listeners, the ones who need a moment to process before speaking, but who have powerful ideas, deep empathy, and the ability to lead in ways that don't always fit the mold. So how can leadership be refined? Leadership has long been defined around extroverted ideals, public speaking, quick decision-making, charisma in front of crowds. Susan Cain, in her book Quiet, calls this the extrovert ideal. It's the cultural bias that equates being outgoing with being capable, and it's baked into how companies hire, promote, and train. But research from Wharton professor Adam Grant shows that introverted leaders often outperform extroverts in certain environments, especially when leading proactive teams. Why? Because introverts are more likely to listen carefully and let others take initiative rather than imposing their own vision too early. In fact, a 2017 Harvard Business Review article noted that introverted leaders often bring better outcomes in creative or knowledge-based fields because they allow space for others to contribute. Quiet leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about making space for better questions. I want to share a moment from earlier in my own journey. Years ago, in a meeting, I found myself sitting on what I believed was a crucial idea. But I didn't jump in. I waited, let others speak. When I finally shared, it shifted the direction of the discussion and ultimately a project that had become stagnant and opened up doors for me to accept bigger opportunities. After the meeting, my boss had said, "I'm glad you spoke up. I want to hear more of your ideas." This moment has stayed with me, not because I had failed to speak up, but because I realized something important. Being thoughtful takes time, but timing matters too. From that point on, I made a deal with myself, not to speak first, but not to stay silent out of fear of judgment or rejection either. It's not about forcing yourself to be someone else. It's about knowing your value and sharing it in your way at the right time. Now let's break down a few common introvert strengths that directly translate into leadership advantages. Introverts tend to process information internally. They don't jump to conclusions, which builds trust. In leadership, this leads to better decision-making and more inclusive teams. Introverts often regulate emotions quietly. They may not rally a team with hype, but they bring a sense of stability, especially during chaos. In a noisy world, introverted leaders bring depth. They think before speaking, plan before acting, and often bring a long-term view that others miss in the rush. Because introverts often spend more time observing than dominating the room, they tend to pick up subtle cues. This makes them more attuned to individuals on their team. These traits don't always show up in traditional leadership assessments, but they're the ones that build strong, lasting teams. Let's look at 3 leaders of quiet leadership who've shaped the world in quiet but powerful ways. Barack Obama, often described as calm, reflective, and deeply deliberate. His leadership style favored careful analysis and emotional control. He once said, "I'm a big believer in reason and facts and analysis and looking at things from all points of view." Rosa Parks, whose single act of refusal sparked the civil rights movement. She wasn't loud. She wasn't seeking attention. Her strength came from conviction, not volume. Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, known for his quiet, empathetic leadership, Nadella transformed the company's culture by focusing on listening, humility, and growth mindset. He's often cited as a model of introverted leadership in the tech world. These leaders didn't force themselves to become someone else. They leaned into who they were. If you're introverted and want to lead, here are 5 practical, low-noise ways to do it. Prepare deeply. Introverts thrive with preparation. Don't wing it. Leverage your planning skills to show up confidently. Use one-on-one influence. You don't need to inspire a stadium. Many leaders change lives one conversation at a time. Set boundaries for energy. Build recovery time into your schedule, especially after high stimulation environments like meetings or presentations. Speak with intention. You don't need to say a lot. You need to say what matters clearly. Redefine visibility. Visibility doesn't mean being loud. It means being present, consistent, and reliable. Here's the takeaway from today's Whisper English ASMR podcast. You don't have to change who you are to lead. You don't need to perform leadership. You just need to practice it your way. This week, try this. Decide on a call to action. Identify one area in your work or life where you've been silent because you felt too quiet to lead. Write it down. Now, think of one small step to show up with intention. Maybe it's asking a question in a meeting, or sharing your idea in writing, or offering to mentor someone. Leadership doesn't start when you feel ready. It starts when you act, even if your voice shakes a little. Thanks for listening to this Whisper English ASMR podcast. If today's episode resonated with you, feel free to share it with someone else who leads in their own quiet way. And if you'd like more topics or leadership, like, subscribe, and leave a comment on the video below. Until next time, lead softly, but lead forward towards success. And now it is time for you to rest. Just rest. Let your body relax completely. Let your breath be soft. Let your eyes be heavy. You are safe. You are learning. You are calm. Remember that you can listen to this as many times as you need. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe to Whisper English ASMR. For now, good night and sweet dreams.